Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The gentlewoman has floor.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, I would like to take a few moments today to speak to you about reductions in cost to compete allocations in the introduced budget. My concern is that reducing cost to compete funding reduces the overall school budgets, which affects how our localities respond to the needs of all of our children in classrooms. Over the past few days, I've had the opportunity to speak to many teachers whom work in Fairfax County but must live outside the county. I know many of these teachers have achieved master's degrees from from some of our outstanding universities here in Virginia. In many cases, they have undergraduate degrees, master's degrees, and you know what? They can no longer live in the county. They must live outside. Or in many cases, from some of my conversations with these individuals, they've actually had to move back in with their parents. They have a job, but they can't teach. They can teach in the county, they can't live in the county in which they teach. Education is a core component of government, and we must and strive to attract the best and the brightest, coaches, teachers, and support staff for our schools. When looking for a job, the best and the brightest have options as to where they go to work. Competition exists in both public and private sectors in order to recruit the best teachers and staff. Cost to compete is about equalizing the playing field. It's about the realities of specific jurisdictions and their wage market. In other government positions, there are pay bands depending on the cost of living. We do not have such pay bands when it comes to teachers. Even with the cost of competing adjustment, salaries for teachers and support personnel remain way below what is often paid in Northern Virginia, as well as those areas that now constitute the outer rim of Northern Virginia. The cost of competing adjustment has been in place since it was recommended in JLARC in 1998. By reducing this funding in the governor's budget, these jurisdictions would all lose millions of dollars, as well as the ability to maintain the best and the brightest in these jurisdictions. I would like to take a few moments and take this opportunity to share just a few examples of the levels of cuts that all these jurisdictions would be facing, not just Northern Virginia. Stafford County, for instance, would lose almost $2 million before fiscal year 2015, which is nothing compared to the $21 million that Prince William will be losing. Loudoun County will have $12 million in cuts to their schools. Manassas City, about $2 million. Spotsylvania, $1.5 million. Frederick is reduced short of $1 million. Winchester, $250,000. And my own county, that of Fairfax, is reduced to $23 million. These are large school districts with large budgets, so the cuts may not seem as dramatic. So let me share with you the cuts of a smaller school division. Fredericksburg, for example, would lose $120,000 in budget in cost to compete funding. If funding is cut from one part of the budget, we need to fill the gap. It doesn't just disappear. Cuts will need to be made up in our classrooms in order to make up the difference. Mr. Speaker, our schools have already lost revenue with the recession. Our localities cannot afford to absorb these cuts at this time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.